Welcome to Cheater Confessions. Let's get started with today's story. I used to think consistency meant security. If you showed up every day, paid the bills, sat at the same dinner table, built routines year after year, then your marriage was solid. That was my logic. It worked in business. I assumed it worked at home too. Jessica had been gone 4 days when I noticed something felt off. She was in Chicago for work, marketing conference, same kind of trip she'd taken before, nothing new. But this time, the house didn't settle into its usual rhythm after she left. Mia noticed it first. "Why is it so quiet?" she asked one morning, sitting at the kitchen counter, swinging her legs. "It's always quiet in the morning," I said, pouring coffee. "No, it's not," she said. "Mom plays music." That was true. Brian didn't say anything. He was 15, already at that age where silence said more than words. He kept checking his phone, like he expected a message that wasn't coming. Jessica had texted the first night. Short, efficient. After that, it was just a few scattered replies. I didn't chase it. I don't chase anything. Saturday morning, I made pancakes. Same as always. Routine matters. It keeps things steady. Mia was drawing something on a napkin. Hearts, mostly. Brian was half paying attention, half somewhere else. I looked at them and made a decision. "What if we go see her?" I said. Mia froze mid-doodle. "Like, right now?" "Today," I said. "We fly out. Surprise her." Brian looked up. Didn't smile, didn't react much. But I saw it land. "She's working," he said. "People can step away for dinner," I replied. "We show up, we take her out. Simple." Mia was already off her chair. "Can I pick the restaurant? Can I? Can I?" "We'll figure it out when we get there." Brian leaned back, studying me. "You didn't tell her?" "No." "Why not?" "Because it's a surprise." He held my gaze for a second, then nodded once. That was enough. I booked the tickets 20 minutes later. No overthinking, no checking schedules. If something's worth doing, you move. On the way to the airport, Mia talked the entire time about what she'd say when she saw Jessica. Brian stayed quiet, watching the road. I drove. Didn't say much. Didn't need to. At that point, I still believed I was doing something good, something solid, something a husband is supposed to do. The flight was smooth. Mia stayed excited the entire time, drawing plans in her notebook for how she would surprise Jessica. Brian stayed quiet, watching, thinking. Jessica texted once while we were in the air. Short message. Said her schedule was packed, meetings all day, dinner with clients later. I read it twice. Dinner with clients. That mattered. When we landed, I didn't call her right away. No reason to. If she was at dinner, that worked in our favor. Public place, easy entry, clean surprise. At the hotel, I walked up to the front desk while the kids waited near the seating area. "Jessica Reed," I said. "She checked in earlier this week." The receptionist nodded, typed for a moment. "She's not in her room right now," she said. I figured. "Do you know where she is?" The woman hesitated, then glanced at the screen again. "She has a reservation at a restaurant nearby. It's listed under her name." "What restaurant?" She told me. I nodded once. "Thank you." I walked back to the kids. "Where is she?" Mia asked immediately. "At dinner," I said. "Perfect timing." Brian stood up. "With who?" "Clients," I said. "That's what she told me." He didn't respond, but I saw the question stay in his face. We went upstairs, dropped our bags in the room, and left what we didn't need. No unpacking, no settling in, just enough to clear our hands. Then we headed back down and took a cab straight from the hotel. The city was busy, lights reflecting off the wet streets. Mia pressed her face to the window, pointing at everything like it was new. Brian sat still. "You sure this is a good idea?" he asked quietly. "Yes," I said. "Because if she's working—" "She's eating dinner," I cut in. "We're not interrupting anything important." He nodded but didn't look convinced. The car pulled up outside the restaurant. It wasn't casual. Glass front, low lighting, the kind of place people choose when they want to make an impression. I paid the driver and stepped out. "Stay close," I told them. Inside, the host greeted us. "Reservation?" he asked. "No," I said. "I'm looking for someone. Jessica Reed." He checked the list. "Yes, she's here." "Where?" He gestured toward the dining area. "Table in the back." I turned to the kids. "Stay right here for a second," I said. "I'll grab her." Mia nodded, bouncing on her toes. Brian didn't move. "I'm coming with you." "No," I said. Wait here. He held my gaze, then stepped back. I walked in alone. Didn't rush, didn't hesitate, just moved straight toward the back. And that's when I saw her. Jessica was sitting at a corner table. Low light, two glasses on the table, one half full of wine, the other almost empty. She wasn't with a group. No laptops, no folders, no signs of a business meeting, just one man sitting across from her. David. Mid-30s, clean-cut, relaxed, jacket off, sleeves rolled. The kind of posture that said he was comfortable being there. Too comfortable. Jessica leaned forward, smiling in a way I hadn't seen in a while. Not polite, not professional, personal. Her hand was on the table. His hand was over it. I stopped walking. Didn't react right away. Just watched. They were leaning in when a waiter stepped between them, placing a bottle on the table. A small interruption. Bad timing. He said something. She laughed. Not loud, controlled, familiar. Then she squeezed his hand under the edge of the table when the waiter turned away. That was enough. I stepped closer. Didn't rush, didn't make a scene yet. I heard her say, "You worry too much. No one's going to—" She stopped when she saw me. Everything in her face changed in 1 second. The smile disappeared. Shoulders stiffened. Eyes widened just enough. "Donald?" she said. David turned, confused. Looked at me, then back at her. I didn't raise my voice. "Busy night?" I asked. Jessica pulled her hand back like it burned her. "What are you doing here?" "Good question," I said. "I was about to ask you the same thing." David shifted in his seat. "Is this—" "Stay out of it," I said without looking at him. Jessica stood up quickly. "Donald, this isn't what it looks like." I let out a short breath. "You're holding hands at dinner, in a place like this. So tell me what it looks like." She glanced around. People were starting to notice. "Lower your voice," she said. "I'm not raising it." That was the problem. I didn't need to. David stood up halfway. "Jessica, do you want me to—" "I said stay out of it," I repeated, this time looking at him directly. He froze. Jessica stepped closer to me, lowering her voice. "Why are you here? You didn't tell me you were coming." "I brought your kids," I said. That hit. "What?" she whispered. "They're at the front," I said. "Waiting to surprise you." For the first time, she didn't have a response ready. Her eyes flicked toward the entrance. And that's when I heard Mia's voice. "Dad?" I turned. She was standing there, just a few steps inside the dining area, Brian right behind her, both of them looking straight at the table. At Jessica, at David, at everything. Mia tilted her head, confused. "Mom?" she said. "Who's that?" Everything slowed down after that. Jessica looked at Mia, then at Brian, then back at me. For a second she didn't move, like she was trying to calculate her way out of it. "Hey, sweetheart," she said, forcing a smile. "What are you doing here?" Mia stepped closer, still holding Brian's sleeve. "We came to surprise you." Jessica nodded too fast. That's great. This is work, okay? I'm having dinner with a colleague." Brian didn't move. He looked at David, then at her. "You don't hold hands with colleagues." Silence. David exhaled and stepped back from the table. "I think I should go." "Yeah," I said. "You should have thought of that earlier." Jessica shot me a look. "Donald, stop!" "No," I said. "You stop." I stepped closer to the table, close enough that she had to look at me, not past me. "You told me you were with clients," I said. "This is your client?" She lowered her voice. "Don't do this here." "You already did," I said. Mia looked between us. "Mom? Why is he leaving?" David grabbed his jacket. He didn't look at me this time. He looked at Jessica. "You said you were alone," he said quietly. That landed harder than anything else. Jessica's face tightened. "David, not now." He shook his head once. "No, I'm done." Then he walked past us, straight out of the restaurant. No hesitation, no apology, just gone. Jessica turned back to me, her voice sharper now. "You had no right to show up like this." I almost laughed. "No right?" I said. "I brought your kids to see you. You blindsided me. You lied to me." Her jaw tightened. "This is not a conversation for in front of them." Brian spoke before I could answer. "Then why did you do it in front of him?" he asked, nodding toward the door where David had left. Jessica flinched, just slightly, but I saw it. Mia stepped closer to her. "Mom, are you in trouble?" That was the moment. Not the hand-holding, not the lie. That question. Jessica opened her mouth, but nothing came out. I stepped in. "Stay close," I said to the kids. "We're leaving." Jessica grabbed my arm. "You're not taking them anywhere." I looked at her hand, then back at her. "Watch me." I didn't wait for her to respond. "Brian, Mia, let's go," I said. Brian moved first. He took Mia's hand without saying anything and led her toward the exit. She kept looking back at Jessica, confused, trying to understand what just happened. Jessica followed us outside. "Donald, stop," she said, her voice tighter now. "You're overreacting." I turned around slowly. "Overreacting?" "Yes," she said. "You show up unannounced, in the middle of a work dinner, and make a scene in front of everyone." I stepped closer. Not aggressive, but direct. "You were holding his hand," I said. "Don't rewrite it." "It wasn't like that." Brian spoke again, calm but sharp. "That's what it looked like." Jessica looked at him. "Brian, you don't understand." "I understand enough," he said. That shut her down for a second. Mia tugged on my sleeve. "Dad, are we still staying with Mom tonight?" I shook my head. "No." I paused for a second, then added, calm and final. "You were leaning in when I walked in. Don't pretend I interrupted nothing." Jessica stepped forward again. "You're not leaving. We're talking about this." "No," I said. "You're talking. I'm done listening." Her expression changed, less defensive, more controlled. "Donald, we've been distant," she said. "You know that. This didn't just happen." "There it is," I said. "Now it's my fault." "I didn't say that." "You didn't have to." She lowered her voice. "Let's go somewhere private. We'll figure it out." I looked at her for a second. "You already figured it out," I said. "You just didn't think we'd show up." That hit. She didn't deny it. Her phone buzzed. She glanced at it, then turned it face down. "Please," she said. "Not like this." I shook my head. "Exactly like this." I turned to the kids. "We're going back to the hotel. Pack your things." Jessica stepped in front of me. "You're not taking them out of the city without talking to me first." I stopped. "You had your chance to talk," I said. "You chose dinner instead." Brian stood beside me now, quiet, but present. Mia stayed close to my side. Jessica looked between all three of us, realizing she wasn't controlling this anymore. "Donald," she said, softer now, "don't do something we can't undo." I held her gaze. "You already did." Then I walked past her. This time, she didn't try to stop me. The ride back to the hotel was quiet. Mia leaned against me in the back seat, still trying to process everything. Brian sat on the other side, looking out the window, focused but distant. No one asked questions this time. At the hotel, I moved straight to the room. "Grab your things," I said. "We're leaving tonight." Mia blinked. "But we just got here." "I know. Are we not seeing Mom?" I paused for a second. "Not tonight." Brian nodded once, like he expected that answer. They grabbed their things quickly. No arguments, no delays. I stepped into the hallway and called the airline. First available flight. Didn't care about the price. Didn't care about the timing. We were leaving. My phone started buzzing. "Jessica." I let it ring. Then a message came through, short, direct. She said we needed to talk before I made things worse. I didn't respond. Another message followed, this time longer. She said it wasn't what it looked like, said I was acting impulsively, said we had responsibilities. I read it once, then locked the phone. When I walked back into the room, Brian was already waiting with his bag. "She texted you?" he asked. "Yes." "You answering?" "No." He nodded. "Good." Mia sat on the bed, holding her jacket. "Is Mom mad at us?" I shook my head. "No, this isn't about you." "Then why are we leaving?" I looked at her. "Because it's the right move." She accepted that. She always did. We checked out without seeing Jessica. In the lobby, I felt it, like she might show up, try one last time to stop us. She didn't. Either she knew it wouldn't work, or she was already planning her next move. At the airport, everything was routine. Bags checked, boarding passes printed, security line, simple steps. Controlled. Mia held my hand the whole time. Brian walked slightly ahead, more alert than usual. At the gate, my phone buzzed again. I didn't need to look to know it was her. Brian did. "She still trying?" he asked. "Yes." He sat down next to me. "You gonna talk to her later?" Eventually, I said. Not like this. He leaned back. She messed up. I didn't respond. Didn't need to. Mia rested her head on my shoulder. Is Mom coming home with us tomorrow? I looked straight ahead. No, I said. She went quiet after that. When they called our boarding group, I stood up, took our backpacks, and moved. No hesitation, no second thoughts. Whatever was left back in that city wasn't mine to carry anymore. The house felt different when we walked in. Not empty, just off. Like something had shifted and hadn't settled yet. Mia dropped her bag by the door and ran straight to the kitchen. Routine. Same as always. She grabbed her crayons, sat at the table, and started drawing like nothing had changed. Brian didn't go to his room. He stood in the living room for a moment, then sat on the couch, elbows on his knees, staring at nothing. I set the bags down and took a breath. No rushing now, no reacting, just handling what was in front of me. Mia looked up. Can I call Mom? Not right now, I said. Why? Because she's busy. That answer wouldn't hold forever, but it worked for now. Brian looked at me. She's not going to call, is she? I met his eyes. I don't know. He nodded slowly. Yeah, you do. He wasn't wrong. That night, I made dinner. Simple. Something they'd eat without questions. We sat at the table. Same seats, same plates, different atmosphere. Mia talked about the plane ride, about the clouds, about how she wanted to go back someday and actually see the city. Brian didn't say much. After dinner, Mia brought me her drawing. It was 3 stick figures holding hands. Me, her, and Brian. Jessica was off to the side, smaller, faded. I didn't have a pink marker, she said. I looked at it for a second. It's good. She smiled and taped it to the fridge. Brian watched that happen. Then he turned to me. Are you divorcing her? He asked. Straight. No hesitation. I didn't answer right away. I haven't decided yet, I said. That means yes, he said. Not necessarily. He leaned back. She lied. In front of us. I know. She didn't even look sorry. That was the part that stayed with him. It's not your job to figure it out, I said. It's mine. He nodded, but I could tell he was already forming his own conclusions. Mia came back into the room, holding another drawing. This one's for Mom, she said. Can we send it to her? I took it. Later. She smiled, satisfied with that. That night, I checked my phone. No missed calls, no new messages. Jessica hadn't reached out. Not to me, not to them. I set the phone down and turned off the light. That told me more than anything she could have said. 2 days passed, then 3. No calls, no messages to the kids. Nothing. The silence wasn't loud. It was structured, like someone had decided to step out and stay out. Mia didn't bring Jessica up much anymore. She stayed in her routines, school, drawings, small questions about dinner, normal things. But I noticed she paused sometimes before asking anything about the future, like she was testing the ground first. Brian changed in a different way. He got quieter, but sharper, more aware. He started doing things without being asked, taking out trash, helping Mia with homework, fixing small things around the house, like he had decided something in his head and was acting on it. One night, he came into the kitchen while I was washing dishes. She still hasn't called, he said. I didn't turn around. No. He leaned against the counter. So, what now? I rinsed a plate, set it down. Now we move forward. He watched me for a second. You're not waiting for her. No, I said. That was simple, clear. He nodded like he expected it, but wanted to hear it said anyway. Mia came in holding her tablet. I drew Mom again. Do you want to see? I wiped my hands and looked. It was the 3 of us again, same stick figures. But this time, the space where Jessica was had no outline at all. Just empty white. She's not mad anymore, Mia said. Right? I paused. No, I said carefully. She's not mad. That's good, she smiled. Brian looked at the drawing too. He didn't comment. That night, after the kids went to sleep, I sat alone in the living room. The house was quiet again. But this time, it wasn't unfamiliar. It was stable. My phone lit up once. Jessica. Just a short message. She said she wanted to talk. Said she could explain everything. Said I shouldn't make decisions without hearing her side. I read it. Then I didn't reply. Instead, I messaged my lawyer and told him to start the divorce process. The response was quick. Paperwork, filing, the legal steps, everything moved faster than I expected. There was no fight from my side after that. No back and forth, just structure. Jessica tried calling once after she got the notice. I didn't answer. She sent messages, some calm, some emotional. I didn't engage. My lawyer handled everything from that point. It wasn't messy in court. No shouting, no public fight. Just documents, agreements, and the quiet end of something that had already ended long before the law caught up. Custody stayed with me. That was the part that mattered. After a few months, it was finalized. The house stayed the same. The routine stayed the same. But Jessica was no longer part of it. She didn't disappear completely. She tried at first, messages, calls, sometimes showing up indirectly through lawyers or asking to speak to the kids. But it was inconsistent. Too late, too scattered, nothing that rebuilt trust. Eventually, even that stopped. Brian didn't ask about her anymore, not because he forgot, but because he had already decided what she was in his mind. Mia asked less and less over time, until the questions just stopped coming naturally. Jessica moved to a smaller place across the city. I heard that through the lawyer once, nothing more. No drama, no final confrontation, just distance. One day she asked to see the kids. I agreed, but only in a controlled setting. Mia was polite but distant. Brian kept the conversation short. After that, she didn't ask again for a while, and I didn't chase anything, because there was nothing left to chase. The life I was building wasn't about fixing what broke anymore. It was about keeping what remained stable. Some nights, I still thought back to that night, not with anger, not even with sadness, just clarity, because that moment didn't destroy my life. It revealed it. And what it revealed, I couldn't unsee. The house is quiet now, but it's a different kind of quiet. Not the silence of something missing, the silence of something finally stable, and that's how it stayed. Thank you for watching.